everyone. Wanted to take a quick moment to provide an additional walkthrough video here. If you attended the open office hours meeting from Wednesday today, some of that information was covered, but we'll go back through it here again today and just provide kind of some tips and tricks on how I like to do these in my workflow that may be helpful to you. Also, just kind of go over the tool overview to try to cover everything that you're going to see typically on a normal unit. The first part of this here, this blue box is super helpful. Make sure that you have this expanded because these are the things that you're going to use most of the time. This isn't all encompassing, so you'll want to make sure to have the guidelines open to find how to transcribe or segment specific cases that may not fall under here. But this is super helpful when you're trying to find something that maybe you will run into along the way. Underneath this, your technical error box, if you've been working on these units, you may have used this. When you're clicking this, make sure that you have your pop-up blockers turned off because there may be a pop-up that asks you if you want to continue to submitting an error. If you click this, there are 4 options that you can choose from. They all have to do with the audio. Either the audio won't play. If that happens, try giving it a refresh and wait a minute. Sometimes these audios can take a minute to load depending on how big the file size is. Secondly, if the entire audio is not in the target language. So if you have an audio file that is the complete different language than the market that you're in, choose this one. If the audio does load, but it's silent or empty the entire time, feel free to use this one. And finally, if the audio is extremely poor, if you can't make out any of the words that are being said in the audio, use this one. But we have a short sample unit here to go through, which will have a little bit of overlap in here, I believe, as well. But hopefully we'll be able to cover some things here just to help you out. First, this top portion of the task is your transcription. The bottom portion of the task is your segmentation. We'll get to this one here after, but I like to do the transcription first because when you do the transcription up here, it populates information down here for you for segmentation. On the left, you're going to have the audio file with some play buttons. Play, go back 5 seconds, go forward 5 seconds. You can speed up or slow down the audio. There is a loop here to where if you only want to play a specific section, you can highlight this and it will turn a loop on and it will only play this specific section.
Put like time and effort into put like time and effort into put like time.
If you want to turn it off, just take it off. You can clear that. Your segment tags are down here for inserting different speakers. This segment tag buttons, I feel like I use more often because it contains the pipe as well, but we'll show that here in a moment as well too. These buttons up here, unintelligible, only if the audio, you cannot tell what's being said. Sometimes this can happen if there's a lot of people speaking over top of each other at the same time. Use context clues and do your best. If you have an idea of what's being said, transcribe that instead of using the unintelligible tag. Only use this in cases where you truly have no idea what's being said. The foreign word tag for a hashtag surrounding it is explained a little bit up here. So for English, which is the unit that I'm going to do here, if we had like a gracias or fiesta, a Spanish word that's commonly used in English, we would wrap those in hashtags. It's not to be used for foreign speech. In the guidelines, you'll notice there'll be bracketed tags where you can put foreign, or if you know the name of the language itself. And then finally, a regular pipe here, which usually is helpful when you're annotating like background noises. This box here, continuing, the save draft option here and save down here are very useful if you run into or you're halfway through the unit, the audio stops playing. If you save both of these and then refresh your page, it'll come back all of your work that you had previously saved. Revert to original just makes it back to the standard, and clear all is starting from scratch. You could use those if you'd like. So also on here, you'll also run into once you start, I've seen this a lot where a speaker pipe will be at the beginning or at the end of the transcription. Neither are correct. It's always going to tell you that there's an issue here. Speaker pipe is used. The reason why it's throwing you an error is because speaker pipes signify there's something before and after the pipe. In this case, there's nothing before. So it's looking for something before, but not finding it. So we want to delete that. Same as if you put it at the end. It's looking for something before and after. There's nothing after, so it's telling us that we have an error here. These also have hotkeys, which I like to use. If you push the tab button, it starts and stops the audio player.
Time and effort into
Yeah, it was
making
like
If you hold the Alt key and press the left button, it goes back 5 seconds. If you hold the Alt key and push the right arrow button on your keyboard, it goes forward 5 seconds. So those are also pretty helpful as well. Let's take a look. We'll dive into this one. Again, pretty short, but just to get an idea so we can kind of get a base as to what we're working with. What I always like to do is listen to at least the first portion of the audio. If you have a longer one, I like to listen to it at least for the first portion just to get an idea of the conversation, what's being said, how many speakers we have to see if at least the pre-populated text has enough speakers in it, and then we'll go in and we'll make sure to correct this. This pre-populated transcript is never going to be fully correct. That's why we're here. We have to make sure that we correct these grammar, spelling, punctuation, changing speakers, adding noises where they occur, things like that. That's the whole portion of this job. So let's take a listen to this first part.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
yeah, it was
making
like
it cool.
super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they
Okay, so the transcript so far, like the words, sound pretty close to me. So that's good. So we know that we won't have a whole lot of fixing to do as far as missing words or adding words that aren't there. We did hear there's a little bit of an overlap, it sounds like, right around here with the speaker, which we'll get into here. So let's take a listen to see kind of when speaker one is and when speaker two interjects.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
yeah, it was
making
like
it cool.
super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they
It sounds like it's right around into.
super like choreographed, and then
Let's find that.
yeah, it was
Okay, so it's around here.
like super like choreographed. Yeah, it was like super like choreographed.
Go back just a little bit.
Yeah, it was like super like choreographed.
Time and effort into
Yeah.
Okay, so we have time and effort into, and then speaker two comes in with the yeah, we know that. So let's just copy, let's just cut this and put this right here. Because when there's overlapping speech, we have to transcribe in the spoken word order. So we know that speaker one says all of this by himself, but now speaker two interjects with yeah, and then there's a little bit of overlap like these words down here.
It was like super like choreographed.
Time and effort into
yeah, it was like super like choreographed.
time and effort into
yeah, it was like super.
So it sounds like making cool. We don't need the dash here, and it was like are overlapping.
Super like choreographed.
Time and effort into
yeah, it was like super like choreographed. Super like
So what we'll want to do is we'll want to alternate these because they kind of go back and forth. So this would still be speaker one's statement, and then speaker two is here on the it was, it sounds like. We'll make sure to transfer this over from here. We have it, speaker two, it. This is back to speaker one. I believe was is now speaker two. And I'm just taking these words and kind of going up here because I'm putting them in this order because they're overlapping, and we're going to go back through and listen because they need to be in the spoken word order, but I'm breaking these apart because this is how you annotate these when there's overlapping speech. So let's see, let's listen to where we're at now. Let's take the loop off.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
yeah, it was like super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
yeah, it was like super like.
It sounds like he says making it cool to me. Speaker one here.
Choreographed, and then I found out later that like they.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
Yeah,
like,
it was
making
like
it cool.
super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like.
And then we also have this like from speaker 2 here as well. And then we're back to speaker 1. Make sure to put a period at the end of the sentence. And now this is still the rest of speaker 2's, but it's not overlapping. And he says this part by himself. Let's take a listen to what we've got here now.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
Yeah,
like,
it was
making
like
it
super
cool.
like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they.
Put these ellipses here at the end because he's not done with the thought, but we are done with the audio.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into
Yeah,
like,
it was
making
like
it cool.
super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they.
That looks pretty good. So we have speaker 1 that speaks by themselves. Then this whole section in here are the back and forth of speaker 2. They're talking over top of each other, but these are in spoken word order with how they're said. Sometimes it can be difficult to tell in what order they're being said. If you want to slow these down to try to pick out exactly the spoken word order, you can do that.
Time and effort into
Yeah,
like,
it was
making
like
it
super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like.
It's cool when they put like time and effort into
Yeah,
like,
it was
making
like
it
super.
cool. That's cool when they put like time and effort into
Yeah,
like,
it was
making
like
it
super like choreographed.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. So now what we'll do is we'll move down to the segmentation portion here because we'll have all of our text that we had up here is now down here. So as far as the segmentation box is concerned here, a few things to note. Same thing with saving up here. If you save both of these, just to make sure that if something happens, you won't lose your work. These will be pre-populated based on the original text that was up here. We've changed that. So now we have new chips down here that we need to place on the line. If you prefer, you can remove all of these and start fresh. Sometimes I like to do that because it just makes it easier for me to follow. So blue chips are for this speaker 1, green are for speaker 2. As you add more speakers, there will be different colors and they can change. We know that speaker 1 begins talking on his own, which is up here. So let's find out where we stop in this text right here. That's cool when they put like time and effort into. We want to make sure that this segment captures all of that and what's being spoken.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like right about here. And if we want to listen to just this segment, we can click this play button.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yep, so it looks like we need to go a little bit further.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yeah.
Good. Now we have speaker 2's yeah, which comes in right here.
Yeah, it was like.
And we'll put all of these are the back and forth overlaps together because we had to break these up, and we'll show you how we combine and notate these overlaps. We'll make sure that this is all correct.
Yeah, it was like super.
Okay, so he starts to say super a little bit earlier. So let's zoom in. Shrink these. Sometimes what I like to do as well, in this case, when we have like broken up words, to make sure that they're being captured. If we know that the super is here, I'll drop the super in.
Super like.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So the super is here. They're talking all together. You know, his words are being said all together, but they're broken up like this because we have to notate the overlapping speech here. So what we'll do, we'll make sure that these are correct here.
Yeah, it was like super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they.
Okay, perfect. Now we want to do the same thing for speaker 1 because there's overlap in here, right?
Yeah, it was like super like.
Okay. So we'll do like up here, and you notice these populated over here because it's pulling and saying, hey, there's some overlapping speech here. What words are overlapping? We'll get to that in just a moment. We'll drop all of these in here because these phrases are being said at the exact same time. So we'll drop all of these in here. Resize them. All right, now let's take a listen. See what we've got here.
Yeah, it was like super like choreographed.
So he stopped saying cool.
Super like.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yeah, it was like
this is extended a little bit to here to where he says cool.
Like super.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yeah, it was like super.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yeah, it was like super.
Okay.
It was like super. Yeah, it was like super.
Okay, do that. Extend this one a little bit. Now, these on the right-hand side are saying, hey, we've got overlapping speech here. Let's pick out the words that are overlapping. So we know that yeah and like are overlapping. We'll select these. Same with it making. Wasn't it. We know this. Like and cool. Now at the bottom, speaker 2's super also begins here while he's saying cool, right?
Super like. It was like super like. It was like super like.
Yep. Now what we can do as well too is if we hold shift and click all of these that are the individual segments here. So again, we can just click, we'll unclick these just to go back and do it again. These are all spoken together, but we all have them broken up into word by word. If we hold shift and click on each one, we can choose the combine feature, which combines this segment into one because they're not saying a word and pausing. They're saying words all at the same time. But because of the overlap, we have to break them up as they're written in chronological order up here. If you combine them this way, when it gets sent back for us, we know that this segment should actually be all in one because they're speaking it all at once. They're not taking any breaks. And we're also not losing audio that's coming through when we break these apart. Same here with this one. We know that these are all together. We can combine these as well. The overlap information still stays the same on the right, and we want to make sure that we have everything selected, all of the words that are overlapping. So let's look, and we'll back up and take a listen from the start to see what we've got.
That's cool when they put like time and effort into.
Yeah, it was like super like choreographed, and then I found out later that like they.
Great, and then we're good. So now you'll notice that there's some orange here on each segment. And down here, we have some errors, which we'll make sure that we address. One of those errors is that we haven't selected anything when we right-click on the segment for emotion. Now, most of the emotions you're going to hear are neutral. If there's a very blatant, someone's very happy, someone's very sad, very angry, very fearful, if any of these come up, feel free to select. The majority of the time, they're going to be neutral, but you still have to right-click and go into them and then choose that they're neutral as well. So again, only select a different emotion other than neutral if it's very obvious that they're expressing a different emotion. For instance, if someone's laughing, it's clear that they're happy, if they're laughing a lot. We can right click and we can tag a laughing portion as happy. Most of the time they'll be neutral though. Same thing down here, we'll have to select our speaker accent identification. For me in this one, these sound to me just like regular English US. So select both of those. For the accent description, only type something in here if you're positive. If there is a regional accent that you're very familiar with, feel free to put that down. Similar to in English, where it's very easy for someone like myself who could identify like a Southern accent because they're very different and they're very noticeable. I could put that in here. Only if you're positive of what the accent description is. If not, feel free to leave this blank. That's totally fine. Once we're done, we will click that we've reviewed every speaker's accent and confirm the information above for this box. One last one here, no disfluencies. Please check the verification box, which is up here. And we don't have any disfluencies. We don't have any or uhs in here. So we're going to check that box. And then we can submit and we're good. Very briefly, some other questions that I've seen as well too, as far as noises. If you have, and we'll just do these as an example here. If you have an audio where a speaker is making a noise, laughing, coughing, sneezing, any of that, those tags go inside a speaker box. So if the audio, someone was saying, I was going to the store yesterday, and then they laugh, I would put laugh here, and it was crazy. Let's just say that, right? Because they're laughing, we insert this here, and any of these types of tags with the hard brackets would be in your native language. So again, I'm in English, so I'm transcribing this in English. This is how you would tag a speaker sound. If it comes from one of your speakers, it's inside the tag. If it's not, let's say it's a dog barking, that would be a regular pipe, and then we would do hard bracket and dog barking, like this. This error is coming up because I don't have that. Be dog barking. And then if it continues, we would continue, the speaker 2, and then they would say, whatever. But again, no pipe at the end. So let's say this was the audio that we heard that was at the end of the transcription here. If you have a noise that is not coming from a speaker, it will be a gray. And then you would drag this on the noise segment. It's telling me it's out of order because I put it towards the end. But this would be how you place a chip on the noise segment. If it's a regular speaker noise, laughing, coughing, sneezing, like I mentioned before, same as before, you would just drag it directly onto the timeline.